Welcome everybody to the Ordinary Agenda Council meeting of the 19th of June 2025. Just got to get myself organised. In the opening, so the acknowledgement in the opening. So in accordance with the Weddin Shire Council's Code of Meeting Practice, this meeting will be recorded for the purposes of audio-visual live streaming via the Council's website and YouTube channel. Those in attendance are asked to refrain from making any defamatory statements and comply with all relevant Weddin Shire Council policies and procedures at all times. Weddin Shire Council would like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people who are the traditional custodians of the land we're meeting on. We would like to also pay our respects to elders both past, present of the Wiradjuri Nation and extend that respect to all other Aboriginal Australians who are present and watching. Weddin Shire Council would also like to honour our service personnel who have sacrificed their lives in the defence of our freedom, our peace and our prosperity. We acknowledge all of our frontline workers and volunteers who each day provide our essential and non-essential services, especially those within our Weddin Shire Council local government area. Right, so we just moved into attendances. We've got the attendances and application for leave. We do have one application for, it's not application for leave, that's only just a
apology, and it was
apology.
An application for leave was Councillor Montgomery.
Yeah, from Councillor Montgomery. Do we have a move and a second of that? Moved by Councillor Parlett, thank you, and then seconded by Councillor White. All those in favour of accepting that apology? Thank you very much, councillors. We next can move on to the confirmations of the previous minutes. Do we have anybody to confirm the previous minutes? Yep, moved by Councillor Gorman. Thank you, and seconded by Councillor Macon. Any discussion on the previous minutes, councillors? No discussion? No. All those in favour then of accepting those minutes as written? Thank you, councillors. Those against? Thank you. 7. We do have some disclosures of interest. I'll get the General Manager to read out the disclosure of interest for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. We have 3 disclosures of interest. The Mayor, in relation to item 9.3, which is a notice of motion to investigate pop-up business as an option for an unoccupied business sites in Grenfell. The description of interest is an owner of a business in the main street. It's a non-pecuniary interest. It's significant, no, but you will be leaving the chamber. Councillor Parlett, in relation to the same item, 9.3, the description is a pecuniary interest. It's significant, yes, and you'll be leaving the chamber. And there's also myself as the General Manager in relation to the mayoral minute in terms of item 16.2 in relation to my resignation. Thank you, Mr Mayor, and that I will be leaving the chamber.
Yep. We need to move someone to accept them. We don't.
For the
declarations?
No.
No, we don't. Yep. So we just move on. Next, we do have a public forum tonight. We've got a chat, Mr. Stephen Rapley in the back wants to speak to council. Just before they do, I just wanted to note, as the General Manager just said, that her resignation, tonight's the last meeting for the General Manager. So I'd like to reserve my comments till after the closed council at the end of the meeting, please. And also, but that being said, I'd like to warmly welcome up the other end there, Catherine, our new Director of Corporate Services, Catherine Brock. Welcome, Catherine. Welcome to Weddin Shire. Welcome to the Grenfell. Catherine, I think Catherine has recently made the move to Sydney, from Sydney to Grenfell with her partner, and she's moved into the community. And I hope she finds Grenfell is a wonderful place to live in, as what we all do. She has been moved here from a recent role as a Chief Executive Officer. She's got a strong background in leadership, strategy and corporate operations. I believe she's going to be a valuable addition to our team, fresh ideas, fresh insight, and some pretty good steady guidance in the role, I think, too. So now I think our corporate services roles are full, and I think we've got a great team there. So welcome, Catherine, and well, basically I think all the councillors welcome. All right, and that being said, I'd like to move on to our public forum then. Steve, would you like to come forward and speak? Have you got your time now, or up to the podium up the front here? Yep, so the item that you wish to speak on is our 10.1, which is our integrated planning and reporting, which includes our community engagement report, our community strategic plan, and our delivery program and our operational plan. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you. I have four items I'd like to bring up. They're probably not on your plan, but if I don't bring it to your attention, no one will understand where I'm coming from. We've got a doctor in town, his name's Dr. Patrick. He's overworked severely. I've put in forms saying that we need a second doctor. He works from 9 to 4 or 5 in the afternoon. He works at the hospital. He rings up at 9 o'clock at night treating patients. Now, if he gets sick or he makes the wrong mistake, I hope it's not you, I hope it's not me. I would like to get another doctor in the town full time. Second thing, the tip is corrugable. We need the tip of corrugable sorted out. I've been in here filling out forms. You've gone out there to look at the rubbish that's in the tip and look at the rubbish in the creek. You go out there on a rainy day when it's flooded, you don't see what really goes on. Look up all the other tracks that are out there, the old tips. You'll see more rubbish. There's rubbish getting dumped in places that no one's looking. Third thing, Gibson Street. I brought that to the attention of the council. The road has been needing repair for 10 years. The only way to repair it is concrete on each side, then put bitumen over it because it's wet there all the time. The council came out there, I reported it to them. They dumped a pile of dirt there. The first big rain we had, we're going to have a mud hole. No one will be able to travel through it. The asbestos, right? We got a gentleman out there that pulled the house down and threw it all in an underground water tank. Then he lit it up. When he lit it up, it turned it into fibrous asbestos and contaminated the area where he lived. I brought this to the town council's attention before, many years ago. Nothing has been done. I'd like that to be recognised as asbestos dump on his property. So the next person that purchases it won't end up in the tip. It will be dealt with properly. I have asbestos tickets A and B. I worked in the powerhouse. We put out 65 tonne of asbestos every day for 2 years until the job became unsafe. I relocated to a better job. That's all I've got to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Very good. I think some of those matters might be addressed. Next, move on to mayoral reports and minutes. There's no mayoral report this one. Sorry? Oh, sorry, yes, there is a mayoral report that's addressed in closed council, which we'll get to later in the meeting. Next, I'll move on to 9 motions and questions with notice. We have the first one is 9.1. Councillor Macon has got a notice of motion. The council establishes a junior Weddin Shire Council Advisory Committee comprising of local youth aged 12 to 18 to provide insight and interest, concerns and ideas of young people across the Shire. Obviously, it's moved by Councillor Macon. Do we have a seconder for discussion, councillors? Yep, seconded by Councillor White. Thank you very much. I'll ask Councillor Macon to speak to his notice of motion if you'd like to.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Over the last few months, we've been holding workshops in regard to our 2035 plan ahead. One of the main things that we established from those meetings was that the youth is at our core of our centre, that we are unfortunately an ageing demographic in this town, and if we're not listening to the youth now to make their ideas at the forefront of our town, we want them to be a part of those decisions as well. So the Junior Weddin Council Advisory Committee, or junior councillors, if you will, that engage local school students and homeschool students to engage in a platform where they can share their ideas, how they want our Shire to look, feel, and be a part of those collaborative decisions with council, and start them on the journey for civic leadership, getting them involved in local government organisations, as well as potentially opening up more funding platforms as well to engage in the youth in that area. Thank you.
Councillors or Councillor White, would you like to speak? Yeah.
Yes, for you, Mr. Mayor. I really support the idea of the youth committee advisory group, whatever you call it. My concerns are if they be here, obviously staffing someone to guide these people. There would be a conflict of interest, I feel, if yourself was to navigate the youth through this process. The other side of things is if this was to go ahead, we would need to create a position in council because policies and so forth would need to be drawn up or drafted as such, which is going to cost money as well as creating that new position, such as like over in Carra, like a community engagement officer to run this program. I feel that we don't have the population of youth that would be interested to form the council or advisory group as such. And this is where I feel that EEP needs to come into play. If we want to see something for our youth, we need to have this community grow. Okay, we need to do an LEP so we can start expanding our community, attracting people, attracting businesses to the community. I also don't think it's a wise idea that we take funding out of the roads, because the roads is such a hot topic within our community. There is a lot of funding sources out there for youth activities and advisory groups and so forth. There is a lot that needs to be done with this youth advisory group or youth council. It's something that I have looked into many times to try and establish, and it's not just something so easy to get up and run, unfortunately. But like I said, I do support the idea, but I feel that we need to do a bit more work within our community, such around the LEP, to grow this community, to grow our population, to form such things.
Councillor Parlett, you have a comment?
Thank you for bringing this forward. I'm always very much in favour of any youth initiatives. I do have hesitation again with the 6,000 allocation of money from the roads, considering roads, and that's a high priority for our community at the moment to have roads done. We did have something in the past similar to this, where the Karen Neighbourhood Centre girls, through interagency, did develop a youth group, organisation or council, and they did start discos and things like that for the youth. But once we lost those girls coming over, we lost that initiative. The health counsellor has tried many times to get someone on there, a young person, to be a council representative, and that's been problematic. So I thought possibly, just as a way forward, we already have with the Henry Lawson High School, the Student Representative Council, representatives from Year 7, there's 2 reps from Year 7 to 10 from my understanding. Year 11 have 6 students, and your Year 12 have the captains, of course. So you've already got a body of young people there who you might be able to possibly connect with to do surveys or, you know, sort of gauge the interest, so that you can move forward as to, you know, they meet anyway, so you have a body of students there. You may be able to tap into also the primary schools. I noticed the age was 12 to 18, and your Year 6 students often are 11. So, but I think it's worth getting their thoughts, which of course, you know, they're going to look at things like McDonald's for their community, whereas your Year 11 and 12s, I know because I'm working with them, they're talking to me about the potholes that their bus has to go over and things like that. So you will get different input from those, and I may be doing a survey out to those schools to gauge interest and find their insights and things might be worthy to then bring it forward to see if they would be willing to join or do something. Yeah, I just think, yeah, doing that groundwork, and then we can push it forward somewhere.
Just Councillor Gorham, just before you speak too, I don't want to comment. Just Councillor, just be aware that when you're speaking to the room, not directly to Councillor May. Sorry, just be aware of that. You speak to the room. That's all. Yeah. So Councillor Gorman.
Through the mayor, Councillor Maple, I can see the merit of what you're trying to do. However, I do have an issue with the fact that you're taking money from the roads funding, which will probably cause a lot of angst in the community because everyone's fighting for their roads. Speaking as someone who has been a teacher for many, many years, and for the last probably maybe 7 or 8 years at the high school before I retired, I was in charge of the SRC, which meant all the meetings, the fundraising activities, the community spirit they tried to bring up within the school. The older kids definitely would have a lot of value to contribute, and they would also have the skills and the big picture information to deal with the responsibility of the position. The younger students, over the years, it was very difficult to even get them to, you know, to run it as an inclusive meeting and to try. They would have made comments occasionally, but I'm not knocking them. There's a lot of valuable kids and a lot of kids with abilities who would probably really benefit from something like this. But I think maybe start, I like what Jen was saying with her suggestions, maybe start with an older group, maybe year 11 and 12, but your biggest problem there is, and they can also bring their ideas from school, etc., into the community, but the biggest problem is most of those kids, especially the captains, have a lot of responsibility within the school, and they're also starting to be very focused on their life beyond school. And the big deal for a lot of them is getting the marks for the career they want to eventually get into, and particularly if they're looking at university education. And I don't know that we need to have it really sorted out, probably before we even attempt it.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can I just make one comment around the $6,000 was the staff recommendation. It was not Councillor Macon in terms of putting against the road maintenance budget. It was us identifying that we don't, and I've stated it in the report, we don't have a community services function within council like other councils do, and that's alluding to what Councillor White had also stated. So in reality, when you've got limited budget, the roads budget is the biggest budget that council manages. So that was just where the recommendation came from. So I just wanted to clarify that it's not Councillor Macon that stated that.
I didn't think it was.
It's in the staff comments,
Yes.
Councillor Gorman. Yeah.
Before we speak, Councillor Evans, so just another quick question. I think we've had 3 speak against it. Were you prepared to speak for it, Councillor? I don't think it's. So you're not speaking for it. So I think we've got 3 for it. I don't think we don't need to have against it. Councillor Maggie, you have a right to reply. So would you like to take your right to reply, or could you perhaps, before I won't tell you what to do, but perhaps you maybe suggest an amendment?
Take away and rejig it and reorganise. I'm fortunate enough to work in the education sector, and I've had these conversations with the children, and they all seem pretty keen, and the school seem pretty keen as well around something like this. It is something that even I have been fortunate enough to grow up in Brentford all my childhood, and something like this would have been really beneficial, and has been beneficial. For example, the skate park got kicked off the ground, and through the stages of funding, and got kicked off the ground. That was all driven by the youth. So those sort of initiatives, it's not so much as a social aspect, it is a learning tool for 2 children, year 6, 11, 12, up to high school, to actually be active participants within the town. We've seen a massive decline in junior sport. We've seen a massive decline in other areas within the town where junior participation has dropped, where I think it's really important that we need to refocus some aspect of our outlook into ensuring that the junior participants within our Shire are included in big things like the festival, and what's important in the main street, what's important in our parks and recreation, and what's important to them, because once again, we have people moving away. We want people to stay. So, and we have been fortunate enough that a lot of people with children have moved to this town. We want to give them a reason to stay and make their children a part of our Weddin Shire as much as possible. It's not just Grenfell, it's the villages as well, to get them involved in what's important to their village as well. It's not so much just focusing on the Grenfell Township, Greenthorpe, Bridbury, Bimby, Craignable, Quandy, all of those have really important aspects to them as well. As the General Manager did point out, the $6,000 from the roads was just a figure that we could fit into the budget. It's not to take away from anywhere else. But I think within the conversations, even from those workshops that I was lucky enough to attend, a really big focus was on getting the youth involved. Even by the older community members that were at those workshops said that these adolescents, these youth members of our community need to be more involved. So that is the main premise around this initiative.
I think Council, one of the stuff and comments there is potential for state and federal grants to support youth engagement initiatives, and I think that's probably somewhere we could come back with that, and maybe that's something we could look for. So
Definitely.
in the future, I totally agree with what you're saying, but obviously, so you happy? We'll put that to the vote. So all those in favour of Councillor making the recommendation there, the council establish a junior Weddin Shire Council Advisory Committee combining of local age youth 12 to 18 to provide insight into concerns of young people across the Shire. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Yeah, one. All those against, councillors? All those? Yeah, move in. The motion is not passed. Sorry, councillor. That's good. Thank you. But thank you for bringing it forward. Good discussion. Next, we move on to 8.2. We have another notice of motion for a motion from Councillor Macon that council implements a quarterly Meet Your Councillors community forum program rotating through Grenfell and the surrounding villages to foster open dialogue between elected representatives and residents. Once again, we have a mover. Councillor Macon's moved it. Do we have a seconder? Yep, Councillor Rolls. Thank you very much. I'll now ask Councillor Macon to speak on this one as well. Thank you.
Once again, diving back into the 2035 workshops and obviously talk amongst the town on online platforms as well, is to increase transparency, increase accountability, and open communication between council and us as councillors. So in the day and age of online surveys, online participation, we want to put our faces in the community as much as we possibly can. Yes, we are all busy people, but to set aside a few nights a year where the community members from Grenfell and the villages can come out to these, broach their concerns, actually put faces to our names, and actually reconnect as council and community, I believe is really important. Not as a platform, as a town hall meeting, just more so to keep in touch with the community, to go, hey, what would you like to see in a community? Where can we go? What can we do to help you? Because the community elected us for them. It is our role to do our duty to them as elected officials. And this will also enable residents that aren't on online platforms, that don't participate in that way, to actually reach out to us and go, hey, let's have this conversation, where they might not be given the opportunity or be able to do, creating greater accessibility to us as councillors. Because as we know from data and census data, we do have an aging population. Not everyone is on Facebook, not everyone does email, not everyone uses those platforms. Putting a face to the name, putting ourselves out there a little bit more, not necessarily quarterly. It could be at specific strategic times. Obviously, in our community, we have harvest, sowing, we have a lot of things happening throughout the year. So we have to be really mindful and strategic of when we do these to increase participation. No point holding it in December when everyone's on harvest. Waste of time. And also taking us to the villages as well gives us an opportunity to see things in their perspective, get them to show us things that matter to them, instead of them filling out a form and waiting to hear back, having their strategic time so they can actually come as a community and go, hey, we need your help, what can we do? And then we can direct them in the right path to different departments within council. You know, these are the persons you need to speak to, these are the departments you need to speak to, or yes, we can put a notice in motion for that for council meetings or such. So more of a reconnectedness of community and council at a basic level.
Yeah, Councillor Niven.
Mr. Mayor, I've got no idea what rock council mate is living under. I mean, we're either available or we're getting messages. I mean, that's,
Thank you, Councillor.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
We've
what?
already had this incentive in place with our community updates that we do. Maybe it's something, it's a great idea that council making put forward. Maybe it's something that we could look at the time frame that we do it, change the time set during the day. The last few times that we've done these road shows and so forth, we haven't really seen much interaction from our communities, even from the villages and such. So maybe we could move it into evenings such as Councillor Mason has suggested, that we would be able to engage with the right people and meet their concerns and so forth. Something that I do support, and I see it's a great benefit to keep moving forward, as Councillor Macon stated, that, you know, we were elected. We need to listen to our community to move this community forward.
I agree, Councillor. Well, I would see myself as being an extension of the roadshow. I think the roadshow is invaluable in that the staff are here, the staff come with us, and they're the ones that, because a lot of the questions are regarding operational stuff, they're not actually regarding the strategic business of what the council do. So I think that's why I think it's invaluable to have the staff available, and they talk about, you know, the neighbour's dog barking and what to do, and they talk about, you know, what to do about my road. We had an example tonight where a chap spoke tonight on issues which don't necessarily fall underneath the council's thing. So I see it as an extension of that council roadshow. Possibly whether we can do it in that manner, or but that would become back, I'd say, to the next general manager, seeing if we can extend that to, like I said, it was better to do it at a better time. I agree. So sorry, it's just my comments. Any other comments, Councillor? Sorry. Yeah, Councillor Gorman, thank you.
I think it has merit, and I support Wes.
Yeah.
However, maybe twice a year at the most, because, you know, everybody's busy, and yes, if you chose the right time, that would make it more valuable as well. And I certainly endorse the presence of the staff, because they do all the operational stuff, and therefore the community can speak to them as need be. But another thing I've found useful is when the communities, the villages particularly, and there is a need, because the ward system finished years ago, so they don't have a direct representative for each of those villages. But one of the things that would be useful is when they have like a community meeting, or they have a function where a whole heap of them get together, if more councillors were able to go and attend those things and just see them in action and be there. And I've done that in a couple of instances, and I've always been welcome, and it would sort of develop the rapport, and then when we do go out, we might even get a bigger group of community members who are engaged and able to come and see us.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor, can I just make a comment in terms of the staff comments? Is that happy to delegate, the suggestion is that delegating the general manager to organise 2 to 3 meet the councillor sessions and rotating them through Grenfell and surrounding villages to foster that dialogue with the elected representatives. The suggestion was just following the employment of the new general manager, as the mayor alluded to. A lot of the stuff that is raised is in relation to the operational side of things. And it's just noting as well, as Councillor Megan did discuss, around people aren't online, they're not on Facebook sometimes, so there would need to be some level of advertising in terms of letterbox drops, just to be factored in from a budget-wise perspective. And some of the facilities that are out in our villages do require a higher fee, so we as the staff have put in just a modest budget, around $1,500 for facilities and higher donation, and then $1,000 up to $1,000 for advertising as well. And we did recommend that coming out of the road maintenance budget.
Yeah. I feel like it's much better for the community to actually have the staff on at those meetings. I think that there's much more benefit for the community. But I'm cautious of making a council decision that affects telling staff to work after hours. You know, that's an operational. That's why I think the new general manager.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, but the council mobile hub is different to the council roadshow. You've got to remember that as well.
I do. Yeah. Just as saying, I think this council road and the mobile hub has more benefit if we could work a solution to combine them both.
Yeah.
Sorry, Councillor Parlett.
Actually, following that line of thought, that we already have the hubs, whether on hub days, whether councillors can attend as well, because then you've got everyone there to answer questions and
We're all invited. We're always invited.
that was just my thought, because that would then not be adding cost or taking any additional costs, and we've got our road shows. But again, I think we've got to be consideration to a new general manager.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, some of the hub day questions were staff. It's around rating information that's probably private information between the ratepayer and the rates officer. So it might you've got to kind of draw the line of what's operational and private information as well, and what is where come and have a cuppa and interact with the councillors. So drawing a fine line there.
So, any more questions, councillors, comments? Well, there's an opportunity perhaps to postpone this to we hire the new general manager, perhaps.
we can defer it.
Do we need to,
Councillor Gorman?
or does councillor Macon need to, have a rethink and revise the motion?
Oh, that's up to.
He doesn't have to.
That's up to. As a mover, it's up to him.
Through you, Mr. If we defer the motion, that would be part of that anyway, wouldn't it? To revise
Yes.
it anyway.
Yeah, refer the motion until we actually have and that'll be part of our community strategic engagement with the new general manager.
Yep.
You're happy with that? Yep. So we don't need we need a motion seconded to deal with it or not? I don't think so. Actually, catch up.
Sorry,
On, we've just got to catch up on procedural things.
Can I move a motion to defer my amend it?
Yeah, amend it to defer.
Yeah, amend to defer.
Yep. So the seconder who was was Councillor Roll. Sorry, did you agree with that amendment? Yep. So if that agrees with the amendment, that becomes the amendment. Now becomes a motion. So the motion is that we defer. So all those in favour of council deferring that until we have a new general manager. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those against? Councillor Niven, thank you very much. The motion's passed. Thank you very much, councillors. We got there eventually. Next, we move on to 9.3. I have declared an interest in this one, so I'll be asking the Deputy Mayor to step up and take the reins for this one. Councillor Gorman.
Oh, I've got to come over there.
You do.
I hope you've got it on the screen.
I do. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Yep.
Hopefully no one sees this as a conflict of interest, because this was an idea that I put forward. However,
You'll need a seconder to your motion.
Oh.
So,
I will.
Yeah.
So introducing item 9.3, moved by councillor Gorman. Notice of motion regarding pop-ups in the main street for the June meeting. And yes, I should have brought my mouse with me, shouldn't I?
Just wait.
Okay, so the motion is to investigate pop-up businesses as an option for unoccupied business sites in Grenfell, to be discussed as separate items. Part 1, the council delegates the general manager to contact the owners of some or all unoccupied business sites in Main Street, Grenfell, basically to determine their level of interest in providing a short-term rental site for potential pop-up businesses, and then to invite them to a meeting, those who are interested particularly, to discuss the requirements and processes needed for this to happen, as an opportunity to ask questions, explore the idea and understand how council is able to facilitate and support the owners throughout the process. The second part of the motion is that I move that the council delegate the general manager to allocate a monthly Monday workshop, which we have one a month, every one Monday each month for councillors, and that one of these workshops include the topic of pop-ups, whereby we can investigate the requirements that will enable short-term pop-up businesses to operate in the main street. I have had discussions with Jason Kanar, who has experience in this matter. So the second part was to invite Jason Kanar or someone with similar experience who has previously facilitated several pop-up business arrangements by successfully advertising, recruiting and coordinating both the business space owners and the interested pop-up businesses to speak at the workshop. Can I have a mover for that motion?
You've moved it. So
I've moved it?
Yeah.
Seconder, Councillor White. So now, can I speak for my motion, please? We all know that over the years, the business centre of Grenfell is looking a bit sad and declining, with a few and then more and more over the years empty business spaces. I first came across the idea of pop-ups when we went to Wagga, and I found a rug shop, and whereby purchased a couple of rugs, and then when we were back there a couple of months later, I wanted to go back to the shop, but it was no longer there and there was a vacant premises. So I went into each of the neighbouring shops and inquired where are they and what happened, etc. And I've also had a discussion with Jason, and my intention is not to compete with any of the businesses that are currently operating in town, to hopefully attract new business that is a different opportunity for us as the community to look at and invest, purchase items from. And basically, particularly, the level of time for the rental would be up to the shop owner, who is willing to become part of the organisation, and also to put themselves forward to achieve a rental of maybe 2 weeks up to maybe 3 months, and hopefully we can attract 1 or 2 businesses to town, particularly during the time of the Henry Lawson Festival or school holidays, etc., when people might be passing through town, and it just makes it look like Grenfell has something else to offer. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I imagine it would have to be coordinated via the general manager, the new general manager, and how they feel about this opportunity, and probably it would be run through or via the staff. And I haven't talked to any of the staff to see whether they would be willing to be part of this. And of course, you'd only start with 1 or 2 businesses. You wouldn't be aiming to fill 5, 6, 7 shop windows all at once. Just 1 or 2, see them through their contract, and then have a meeting to evaluate how it went, what we need to do to improve it. Do we want to do it again? Was it successful? Thank you. Councillor White.
It's a great concept, but I feel that it's not council responsibility. I believe that we used to have a business chamber of commerce. They used to meet. Unfortunately, that did die down into lack of interest, and like businesses falling back. I feel that we need to put it back into the community, get another chamber of commerce group going, get them to establish this, because, like I said, I just feel that it's not a council responsibility. I'm also going to harp on again about the LEP. Okay, I feel that LEP needs to be conducted. Also, strengthen our strategic plan 35. Okay, if we can get this LEP done, review only costs $50,000 to $150,000 every 7 years or so, or making amendments. So we really need to grow our community to attract our businesses.
Mm.
Okay? And like I said, it is a great concept. We do need to see our main street filled with more variety, more opportunities, more job prosperities for our youth and other people within the community as well. But unfortunately, I just feel that it's not council responsibility and it needs to be put back into the community. It's the landlords, the owners, decision on how they establish their lease agreements as well. You know, the rent in the main street is quite pricey and does turn a lot of people off. I know that from previous experience myself, and I don't understand why. And I still struggle with like the price of housing, especially for Redfall when we don't have anything to really offer. You know, you got to travel out for services. You know, you struggle with one doctor. You know, there's not that much shopping variety here. So it needs to be, the onus needs to be put back onto the community, form this business chambers of commerce and get this up running and look at how they can help people start a business, like workshops, you know, what you need to know about tax and so forth and all that, all the legislations and so forth, and hopefully try and convince people to run with their ideas and dreams to open up a business as such and make it that it's something different that's not already given to the community, that's going to benefit the community in lots of ways.
Thank you.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, Madam Speaker, you're it. Look, it's aspirational, but
Definitely.
I feel that council have enough vacant premises of their own to care for, and I agree with Councillor White, it's a commercial arrangement, and I don't think council should interfere in commercial arrangements.
I see where you're coming from and I agree. It doesn't appear to have been happening in the past, and it was an idea that I wanted to put out there using council as the platform. And as I said, I haven't talked to any staff and I haven't even discussed with the general manager in terms of how she felt about the staff running it. But certainly getting a Chamber of Commerce or group of business leaders together would be very productive.
Through you, Madam Chair, can I just make a comment that your notice of motion is in two parts, and
Yes.
I do agree with Councillor White that in the absence, we don't have a Chamber of Commerce, and that would be something naturally that they could obviously facilitate. Part two talks about a workshop, and I feel like that's still a good platform. That is the role of economic development, to actually look at ways to engage with businesses from a council perspective. I'm just wondering, is it a case of rewording this motion? Because I don't think around the investigation part perhaps probably doesn't fall within council's remit to undertake in terms of after hearing what the councillors have said tonight. But in terms of conducting that workshop and having those connections with owners, only council has that information. So a Chamber of Commerce isn't going to have the information of who owns the buildings, because obviously that sits with council. So you could write a letter and do a letterbox drop into the different businesses, but if it's a vacant business and you slide something underneath the door, it's not necessarily going to go to the property owner. So it's just something to consider there, whether or not you rework this motion, but just thinking about it from a facilitation perspective and just having that initial discussion around how council can assist building owners from that that side of things. It's still very worthwhile, in my opinion. I think perhaps the investigation word's what has gotten some councillors speaking nervously against it.
Mr. White, Councillor.
You, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the General Manager for giving a bit more insight and clarification around that. I feel that is a great concept, that if we could approach it in a formal way with a letter and stating, you know, your premises is empty, this is an idea, we want to help you reduce some of your costs around your insurances and rates, and this is the proposal that we're putting forward to you, environment two workshop, to give more clarification and understanding of what we're trying to achieve for our community.
And the fact that it was to be for short term means, you know, even if they only sign up for 2 or 3 weeks, at the end of that, they can reevaluate it and say, yes, I want to be part of this. No, I don't. And by that stage, people in town would have noticed, and we might be able to get some community feedback. Councillor Rolls?
Madam Deputy, 2 things. I just want to disagree with Councillor Wright's earlier statement, in which he said Grenfell doesn't really have anything to offer. I just want to note that I disagree with that. I don't think that's the case. I think we have plenty to offer.
Yes.
And further, I would propose that we perhaps defer this motion and potentially rework it with consultation with the Economic Development Officer and come back at a later stage to rediscuss.
Okay. So,
Procedurally, you've moved it, Councillor White has seconded, so
Yes.
you wanted to do a deferral amendment similar to the previous motion, then you just
Okay.
need to get Councillor White to support that.
So, Councillor White, do you support an amendment that we defer this motion for a later meeting when we have a new general manager and we can think about the ins and outs of the process and come back together and go again?
Yes, I'm in agreement with the amendment motion.
All right. Can I have a vote on that, please?
Well,
Oh.
spell it out. Just
Oh,
what- just
sorry.
what- just
That
what
we-
the amendment is. I agree with the amendment.
Yes.
But I just, you know,
That we don't vote on this tonight, that we amend the motion and put in an amendment so that we defer this for later discussion at a later meeting when we have the new general manager present and we've done a little bit more research, or I've done a little bit more research independently.
And Councillor White, you've supported that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else want to speak? All right. Are you in favour of deferring this motion and then bringing it back at a later time? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Would somebody like to get the mayor back? Because he would like to get his business underway.
I thought you were getting comfortable.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a bit nerve-wracking. We deferred it.
Thank you. Thank you. Page 18. That's nice. Yeah, next we move on to the General Manager Report. We've got the Community Strategic Engagement Plan, the Community Engagement Report, the Delivery Program and the Operational Plan. The recommendation here, Council, is that Council notes the information contained in this report, including the Community Engagement Report, the Weddin 2035 Community Strategic Plan, the CSP, the Delivery Program, DP 24-28, and the Operational Plan, Operational OP 2025-26, including the budgets. Council 2 endorses the final Community Engagement Report, the Weddin 2035 Community Strategic Plan, the Delivery Program 24-28, and the Operational Plan 25-26, including the budget, to be published on the Council's website. 3, that Council approves the General Manager to make minor typographical errors before publishing the documents. 4, and in accordance with the provisions of Section 535 of the Local Government Act 1993, Council makes, fixes and levies the rates and charges for the 2025-2026 financial year. And 5, Council delegates the General Managers to submit Council's IP&R documents to the Office of Local Government prior to the 30th of June 2025 in accordance with the Local Government Act 1993. Do we have a mover and a second if that one, Councillors? Yeah, moved by Councillor Macon, second by Councillor Rolls. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask the General Manager to speak on this large body of works.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Firstly, I just wanted to thank the community in terms of being able to deliver these final documents. It's been quite a collegiate process with the community, with the turnout with our community workshops. That's outlined in our community engagement report. So we obviously had a very good turnout before we finalised the draft of our community strategic plan, and our community seemed to agree with the way we were going. And a lot of the actions that they also wanted to see was around getting back to basics. So making sure that the delivery program and the operational plan, the actions that we can actually control, was focusing on that as well. The community engagement report captures the Micromex survey that was undertaken. So we obviously had people who had the telephone survey. There was also people that engaged with the survey online and actually just went straight to the survey source and filled that information out as well. So in developing the plan, we're looking at the Weddin Community Strategic Plan, which has the 5 themes of our people, our economy, our environment, our infrastructure, and our leadership. It's got set goals in there and strategies, which I think will age quite well over the next 10 years because it is around that input from the community. It completely is a redesign from the previous community strategic plan, which served its purpose at that point in time, but obviously had a couple of rollovers due to the short turnaround time of the last election. So we obviously utilised that opportunity to redevelop our community strategic plan. The delivery program, as I alluded to, was around the projects that we can control, and it's that 4-year plan. It's your council plan. So at the end of this council term, you'll go back and assess how you've gone against the delivery program and the actions and strategies that you've put forward. The council will receive a 6-monthly report to tell you how you're tracking against the different strategies that you've put into the delivery program as well, and that'll be tabled between 1st of July to 31st of December. A report comes back after that date, and then obviously 1st of January through to the 30 June. And I will hand over the operational plan to our new Director of Corporate Services just to go through a couple of budget amendments that have happened from the draft to the final. Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to highlight some changes to the budget as the General Manager pointed out. So the summary of the budget in the operational plan originally reported a loss of 1,567, and it's been increased to 2.249 million with the additions and movements of certain lines. So as noted in the report, there's been an increase to the operating income for the community support applications, reflecting the in-kind allocation and charges. An increase of 198,000 in operating income from grant funding that was unspent in FY25 for swimming pools that has been rolled over for several maintenance issues that have to be addressed in Quandiala and Grenfell Aquatic Centres. And this has also been offset by an increase to expenditure for the same period. An increase in cost to the Henry Lawson Festival from 45,000 to 56,500, so an operating expenditure cost of $11,500, and that's been split between an increase in event management from 20,000 to 26,500, and an increase to in-kind from 20,000 to 25,000. Marketing, promotion, and the art purchase will remain the same. An increase of expenditure, operating expenditure, based on a recommendation from our last ARIC meeting, was to roll over $32,000 that was in the FY25 budget that was unspent for internal audit, and this will be used for assurance mapping, as I said, requested by ARIC, and will be conducted by myself in conjunction with the ARIC chair. We've also added into the operating expenditure $630,000 from capital works that was not rolled in previously for non-natural disaster. And finally, $15,000 for cemeteries amenities that was also not brought in from capital expenditure. So that's the roll-up of the additional changes that have been reflected in the updated operation plan.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can I just make also one addition that we are proposing to increase the Henry Lawson Festival budget, and that's not just for the 25-26 year. It would be staff's recommendation that you would look at embedding that into our donations and in-kind policy and just making that amendment there to reflect those values. Henry Lawson Festival in that policy falls under the sponsorship section, and just having that amendment undertaken with that policy there.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can I add one additional change to the operational plan? Schedule H in the operating plan has changed. There's a summary of the different road packages in there, and there's been an error only in the addition. So the package 7 was not added into the sum, so the total will be revised to 18,269,711, and these numbers will be changed in the finalised version that's published on the website. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any more comments, General Manager? Councillors, I'll put out, I suppose, I've got a sort of an overarching comment about the whole process. I think this is it's one of the most important documents, I think, suite of documents that actually, and I've said this before, that we produce as councils. It's one of the most important things we do. It's not just a requirement, but it actually sets out our community's long-term visions and our priorities, and it gives us clear direction over the next 10 years. What I've found out this process is clear to me that nothing in there is a surprise. I think everything the community has asked for, we're aware of it. I think things like improve our roads, medical facilities, aged care, garbage collection, recycling, all those sorts of things, is stuff that we knew as a council. And I think we already understand that, and we've already been working towards doing our best I can for those things. And so it's pretty reassuring. This whole group of documents to me reassures us that we're on the right track, that we are doing the things that the community wants. I want to thank our staff for all the job they've done. Fantastic job in putting all this together. You've been through it. There's a massive amount of work in that, and an absolutely phenomenal amount of work in putting this together. And I'm not just for putting it together, but also continuing to deliver the quality services that we get every day with our pretty tight budget. The staff do a pretty incredible job of doing that. I think we need to recognise that, and it's a good opportunity to recognise that. The community strategic, the survey we did showed that residents actually do understand that the council staff are doing a good job in those areas, and I think they appreciate it, and it's a real credit to the staff. I want to thank Steph Coleman as well, who was our consultant. She did a lot of work in it as well. It's a great task. She handled it very professional, and it showed she had a general commitment to the community. I want to thank all the residents that participated as well, whether they attended the meetings, they completed the survey, whether they just shared their feedback. Their input from the community is what shaped this plan, and like I said, it's told us that we're all moving in the right direction. I do acknowledge that some of the issues that were raised in it, such as the health services, and we had a chap speak today about the doctors issue, they aren't in council's control. No matter how much as a council we want to be in control of those sort of things, we just aren't. A lot of those issues are state government responsibilities, but we also want to tell the community we hear about those concerns. We understand it's an issue in the community, and we're going to continue to advocate to fix those things and support those areas the best we can. We'll keep looking for another doctor in the ways that we can. Like I said, it's not actually our responsibility, it's the state government. So, I'm just bringing out some context in there that I noticed in there that our biggest challenge is obviously the fact that our funding is decreasing all the time. It's important we note that it said fixing local roads grants, no longer get them. There was $691 million was across 577 projects. That's a massive amount of money that we no longer get as councils. Stronger Country Communities Fund was $660 million, and that provided 2,500 projects. The bridge renewal programs, the drought communities programs, we don't get them anymore, and we haven't seen anything from the government to replace those as of yet. So a small council like ours, a rural council like ours, those losses are really significant, and it really impacts on our ability to do what the community wants us to do, which they've put in that plan. And that's, we have limited resources, and we can't do it on our own. We just can't. So that's why the role of this council had to be advocacy. We have to advocate for more money for the regional communities and get regional communities the money that they deserve. We need a fair share of investment from the state government. I know I've said it, I've said it before about the stability, the sustainability of local government that the government has looked into. We need that report to come back, and we need that to have some meaningful long-term support for rural councils like ours, and that's what we want. I think it's a great plan. It's a great set of documents. It really highlights to us and to me that there are areas that we're good in, there are areas that we need to improve in. And as Councillor Macon said, collaboration is probably one of those areas we've got to work on. But I think with council staff and the community and ourselves as councillors, I think we can improve in those areas. I think that's something we can work on. And they are a culmination of a lot of work. And I'd say to the councillors as well, I think it's good if I would actually say open up a new folder on your desktop, bring that community strategic plan and put it in there where it's front and centre, and you can look at it when you're making a decision on this council. You can look at that strategic plan and see what the community actually wants. That's all. So I'll open up to any other questions or councils, any comments, councils, on any of those plans? I know I was a bit of a soapbox, but it's important.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can I just,
Yes.
talking about the Henry Lawson sponsorship, can we just make it 0.6 as an amendment around updating the donations policy? If someone can move and second that.
Yes. So, yep. We'll move by Councillor Gorman and second by Councillor Rolls. Thank you. That's an amendment. So who moved it, the first two?
Motion Rolls.
So did you want to make and Rolls? Do you accept those amendments? That can become a motion. Thank you. Well, any other questions, councillors? It's a lot of work. No?
I think
Councillor Macon?
through you, Mr. Mayor, that I think it's really important for the community to engage in these documents as well.
Yep.
I think it's a
Totally agree.
really important understanding of how difficult the life of council can be. Sorry, that's really poor English. Can be, especially when we all want the dream for Grenfell. We want the best of the best for everything. It's the same as any community, same as any organisation. We want the best of the best, but it's really important to understand how, when, and who actually is in charge of these things to make the best of the best. Where a lot of the sort of angst points with the other community, as the Mayor alluded to, some of those are out of our control, and it's really important for the community to understand when they come and speak to councillors that we can go, yes, we hear you, but this is completely out of our control. We have no say, we have no vote, all we can do is advocate for a vote, for a say. And prime example for just our little shell-out council, correct me if I'm wrong, we had almost $10 million stripped from our road maintenance budget. So you can imagine that's just one council, and imagine how much work we could do within our council with $10 million. These are the things that the community needs to understand, that it's not just an easy fix and a quick fix. Some of these decisions take these whole 10 years to make and to get to the point where it's not just let's do it now.
Yeah.
So I really urge the community to engage in these documents. Thank those that have engaged in them, gave community consultation feedback, all that sort of engagement as well. But please have a look, dive into it as best you can, then come and see us to see where we can help you get to these points. The community.
Thank you, Councillor Macon. Any other comments, councillors, before I put this under the vote? No? Thank you. So I've read it out once, so I don't want to read it again, but council, all the information regarding the community engagement report, the strategic plan, the delivery program, the operational plan and the budget. So I'll put this one, so the whole, we'll put them as a block. We've got to move in a second. All those in favour of accepting those reports, please. Thank you, councillors. All those against? Thank you, councillors. Once again, thank you, staff. There we go. We move on to 10.2, integrated in planning and reporting and resourcing strategy. It's the recommendations from this council that we note the resourcing strategy documents, which includes the long-term financial plan 25-35, the strategic asset management strategy 2028, and the workforce management strategy plan 2028. Council 2 endorses the resourcing strategy documents, the long-term financial plan 25-35, the strategic asset management plan to 28 and the workforce management strategy to 2028. 3, we approve the general manager to make any minor topographical error edits before publishing the document, and we delegate the general manager to submit council's resourcing strategy to the Office of Local Government prior to the 30th of June 2025 in accordance with the Local Government Act 1993. Do we have a move and a second for these, councillors? Yeah, moved by Councillor Neal and seconded by Councillor Macon. Thank you very much. Once again, I think I'll ask the General Manager to speak on these documents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, Mr. Mayor, the presented here is our long-term financial plan, the strategic asset management strategy and workforce management strategy. I acknowledge that these plans have not been updated for a very long time. They've been rolled over plans, obviously due to staffing resources. And I'm very, very proud to sit here to actually be presenting these strategies. They're the strategic strategies that form the resourcing strategy of council. It is a requirement through our integrated planning and reporting framework to present these. Councillors have been super engaged and for the majority, been able to attend the workshops that we've conducted for staff to actually go through these strategies with the council and do a page turn through and also just get some ideas as well and work through those processes. I wanted to note with the long-term financial plan, I'll leave that one over for our Director of Corporate Services to make some notes on it. With our strategic asset management strategy, there is just one note that there is just an update on our culvert information within that strategy. I had stated at the March council meeting that we've moved away from the asset management plans. We've had got quite a number of them on our website, which was just duplicate documents. They basically duplicated the same information. With our strategic asset management strategy, there's an overall framework, and then those individual assets are then chapters within that document, which is much more user-friendly for a small council like ours. Now, with the workforce management strategy, our HR specialist gave a presentation to councillors on this strategy. It's such a good opportunity to really identify the challenges and issues within our workforce, whether it's our ageing workforce and people nearing retirement, or whether it's our reliance on grant funding to actually fund positions, because as we know, our rate base is so low that all of our jobs, whether it's out on the roads and whatnot, it is so heavily reliant on grant funding and external funding, whether it's through Roads to Recovery or through our Regional Emergency Road Repair Fund. That's how we actually pay staff, is through those grants. And we've got a number of strategies within that workforce management strategy to focus on the people and to make sure that we continue to be a learning organisation, that we continue to train and develop staff and invest in staff as well. And obviously having those reporting mechanisms, whether it's around, staff surveys, and councillors got given the presentation of the staff survey that was conducted last year. So that has been provided to the council, and there's an opportunity to work on a staff survey next year, because obviously with being a small council, we can't exactly fund those things every year. And channeling that into next year would be really, really good to actually touch base, to actually have a look at the strategy itself. Now, I'll just pass it over to our Director of Corporate Services just to go through a couple of things with the long-term financial plan.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, just noting the changes to the budget as discussed previously have been updated into the long-term financial plan. And scenario 3, there's been some changes in the user charges and fees revenue, which has been updated from 2027 to 2035 and will be reflected in the finalised version that appears on the website.
Thank you. Very good. There is councillors. Thank you. It's completed. Yep. I'll ask any questions or comments, councillors. Councillor Parlett.
I would like to amend the motion so that we vote for each of those policies separately, because I can't in good faith vote favourably for a long-term financial plan with the scenario still in there for the special ed variation. I feel that we're endorsing that, so I would like that those policies be separated, because I'm quite happy to support the other policies and I don't want them to be jeopardised in any way.
That's right. I don't think we need to move it. We can just. I've actually got to move in a second, so I suppose the right way to do this would be just take the long-term financial plan out. We'll do the rest as a bulk, and we'll just do it as a second. Yep. So we'll vote on everything, councillors, except for the long-term financial plan. Yep.
I'll second that.
Yes. Yep.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, this is just a process thing. It doesn't need to be an amendment per se.
We can just vote on them as what we said we're voting on as a block, and we'll just leave 2 out. This long-term financial plan. Yep. Councillors.
So we're understanding that we're voting for the strategic asset management strategy.
Yep.
And workforce management strategy.
Yep. So we're voting on all 1 except for A, which is the long-term strategic plan. We'll vote on 1B, 1C, 2A, B, and C, 3 and 4 in a block, and then we'll vote on 1B separate. 1A separately. That's right, councillors. Understand that? Yep. Yep. So any comments, councillors, on that? Yep. Righto. Oh well, in that case, I shall put that 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B, C, and 3 and 4 to the vote. All those in favour of those plans, councillors?
Not 2A.
Sorry, not 2A. My apologies. Not 2A, sorry. Let's go through that again so we get it clear. The council notes the resourcing strategy documents, which is the strategic asset management, the workforce management plan. We endorse the resourcing strategy documents of the strategic asset management strategy and the workforce management strategy. And then approve the general manager to make minor typographical errors before publishing, and delegate to the general manager, edits, no errors. Delegate to the general manager to submit council's resourcing strategy to the office of local government. That's right. So once again, all those in favour of those recommendations, councillors? Thank you. All those against? So pass. Thank you. Next we move on to, we'll put 1A and 2A together, those documents. Any questions or councillors, any comments on those documents?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if I can explain the IPNR, the Integrated Planning and Reporting Framework, it does require the long-term financial plan to have conservative and planned, which we've discussed to death, I feel like, in terms of the fact that that's how council operates. We are conservative and we plan. And then the optimistic scenario as well. I think the Mayor had alluded to in the last month's meeting around the inquiry into the financial sustainability that the government's provided a response on. And there will be options into the future looking at a comprehensive spending review. But until that's actually legislated, I'll go back to the question of, in terms of optimistic, we've given 2 optimistic options in there. It's not just around scenario 1, but also scenario 3 is my recollection of it. And we did go through line by line to actually show if we were to look at an enhanced asset management approach, because our assets are aging, our plant is aging. We've had significant issues around that in the past. We need to make sure that whatever we're purchasing into the future isn't going to have an impact on our bottom line. And so our Director of Corporate Services gave a very detailed presentation on that for council on Monday. So it's just a consideration that you're going to have to take out a loan into the future, and you need to do it responsibly. And you need to consider how you can ensure that those repayments can actually be made back. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions, I think, councillors? No? I mean, I'm agree with the general manager in this. I think it's imperative we have these scenarios in place. We have to have them in place. I don't think it's reflective of an actual process that we would go through if were doing a special rate variation. That's a completely separate process. And I think that different things would come out if we did that process, but we're not asking to do that process at the moment. This is just accepting that there are different scenarios available to us. But that's right. We'll move on then. Thank you, councillors. So we've got a move and a second for that, or we don't have we do yet. Councillor Parlett and seconded by Councillor Niven, that we remove those and vote on them separately. So I'll now put them to the vote. All those in favour of accepting the long-term financial plan and endorsing the resourcing strategy documents of the long-term financial plan, please raise your hands. Thank you, councillors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And all those against, thank you. Thank you. Noted in the... Yes, I'd like to be noted if that's all right. Thank you. Next, we move on to 10.3, additions to the annual in-kind donations pre-approval table. Council recommends that council approves for the Crackable Progress Association to be included on the pre-approved annual donations table for in-kind donations for the Crackable Camp Oven Cook-Off event in the Council's donations and in-kind contribution policy, and that 2, notes under clause 6.2 of Council's donations and in-kind contributions policy, the General Manager has approved the in-kind support request for the event, which was held over the June 2025 long weekend. We have a move and a second, councillors. Yep, moved by Councillor Parlett, seconded by Councillor White. Thank you. It's the General Manager to speak on this one.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, in relation to, yes, I would like to think so. The Crackable Progress Association does request in-kind donations of bins. And so we do provide them and every year for the Camp Oven Cook-Off. For whatever reason, they have been missed off the pre-approved list. So it's just around a procedural process to have them included in the annual donation and in-kind table that's within that policy, and then making sure that we enact that every year moving forward as well.
I'd say I apologise to the Crackable Progress Association. We didn't pick this up when we were doing the table. I think it should have been on there from the start. But anyway, any questions, councillors, comments?
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, the councillor Megan.
So over the years, this has been voted on to be approved without being on the pre-approved. So we
Only just put the
we're just
pre-approvals
putting
in
it on the
place.
pre-approved, so they don't have to keep reapplying.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I do believe that there wasn't an actual formal application process, and that's the reason why it was missed.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. The bins were just getting taken out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just and miss. Councillor White.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. With the IVs being taken out there for this event, is this something that was still happening when the Crackable Tube was open? That we were doing this, or is this just something that's in place now until it is re-established?
Mr. Mayor, this has got nothing to do with the tips. It's just for the event, because they have so many people there. They obviously need to put rubbish somewhere, and then it gets it gets taken away after the June long weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a direct relation to that. It's just it's just to help to support the event, which is a great little event for Crackable. Yep. If no more comments, councillors, I'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendations? Thank you. All those against? Thank you, councillors. Next, we can move on to 10.4, the resolution register. That council notes the attached resolution register as of June 12th, 2025. We have a move and a seconder. Yep, Councillor Gorman moved and seconded by Councillor Rolls. Thank you, councillors.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the presentation of my last resolution register that I'm presenting to council. Action updates of matters that were during my time, I guess you could say, since Info Council has been implemented, and making sure that councillors are aware of what's still outstanding. Some things have to be left on there just from a timing perspective, but that's just a presentation now in terms of the resolutions that are still outstanding. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Right. Councillors, any questions on any of those resolutions? No questions? Nothing? Righto. Pretty straightforward then. We'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour of accepting the resolution register? Thank you. All those against? Thank you, councillors. Next, we move on to 10.5, which is the election of some committee delegates to the Weddin District Liaison Committee and the Bushfire Management Committee. There is a recommendation that council notes information contained in the report, appoints two councillor delegates to the Weddin District Liaison Committee, appoints one delegate to the Bushfire Management Committee, and then 4 delegates the General Manager to write to the Rural Fire Service to advise them of the councillor delegate for that committee. I'll let the General Manager speak on this one as well. Yes, so we better have a mover and a seconder to that recommendation. Moved by Councillor Roll, second by Councillor Neal. Thank you very much. Everyone's keen to jump onto these committees, I'm sure.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the Weddin District Liaison Committee meets twice a year, and those meetings are scheduled, I believe, at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, and normally go for about an hour. And it's just a good opportunity to talk about the annual budget and the business plan. It's just noting that this committee is not not a committee of the council or the RFS. It's just an arrangement in terms of the liaison committee there. Then the Bushfire Management Committee meets twice a year in May and October. Again, it's a meeting that commences at 10. It's held over at the Forbes Fire Control Unit, and it's not a committee of council. It's just important to note that. So in terms of that, we are basically requiring 3 delegates, but a delegate can be on both committees as well.
So we'll do probably the Weddin District Liaison Committee first. Any questions on the councils or anything like that? No, it's all pretty straightforward. Do we have anybody that's would like to be the delegate for the District Liaison Committee? Oh, Councillor Rolls, you would like to do that? Oh, very good, thank you. So anyone else, councillors? No? Very good. I think, do we do them separately or vote for them separately, I wonder, or just vote for them in block? We'll move on to the next one and then we'll vote for those in a block. Next one is the Bushfire Management Committee, which is held, as the General Manager said, 2 times in the year, May and October. Councillor Macon, you'd like to?
Yep.
Yeah. Any other councillors? Oh, Councillor Gorman, you'd like to?
Well, it didn't really worry me, but
Oh, it doesn't worry me, but if anyone has an interest in bushfires and management of bushfire-prone land around the
I
community.
think it would particularly be relevant to the villages.
Mhm.
And I do what I can to support them, so that's the main reason why I was putting myself forward.
Very good. We've got 2. Any other councillors interested? No? No, righto. Well, I think we've got delegates. I'll probably put those to the vote then, I think, at this point.
Sorry for you, Mr. Mayor. The Bushfire Management Committee is 1 delegate. Councillor Gorman, were you talking about the?
Oh, sorry, I've done it.
No,
I've done it.
not the financial one, I'll leave that to Simon.
Right. Sorry, I've done that wrong, have I? So that there's 1 delegate to the Bushfire Management Committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Looks like there's 2 potential delegates, and then Councillor Rolls is the financial one, the district liaison.
And the meetings are during the day, is that what you said before?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, and yes, both meetings are during the day.
sorry, I'm just catching up here. I'm not sure.
So some of the recommendations.
Yeah,
2 delegate committees,
for the liaison committee.
Yeah. which is the financial one, and then 1 delegate for the Bushfire Management Committee. You've got Councillor
Well,
Macon and Councillor Gorman.
I thought Councillor Gorman was. So you're so yes, you're only
The bushfires.
Management Committee.
the Bushfire Management Committee.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, and then we've got Councillor Macon and Councillor Rolls for the Weddin District Liaison.
For the bushfire, through you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm trying to get this. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so you've only got 1 nomination, even though you've got 2 spots.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm probably. So you've got 2 nominations for the other one, and
Yeah.
only 1 for the first one.
Yeah.
Righto, well, I suppose I'll put myself as a delegate for the liaison committee, Councillor Rolls. That'll give us 2 there, and then we have to have a vote then on the delegate for the Bushfire Management Committee, unless anyone would like to step down.
I'm happy either way. If Deputy Mayor Gorman wants to take it, I'm not gonna fight for it.
Okay.
But if
We can put it to a vote if you'd like. That's all. Or
I'm happy to step down.
happy to step down.
If Deputy Mayor would be.
Well, Wes, we could do a deal whereby if ever I can't attend, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we can add that in
We
as
can-
an alternative.
Yes,
delegate
you can
as
add the
well.
councillor Macon in as an alternative
Through
delegate.
you, Mr. Mayor, I'll be the substitute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. It's an alternative delegate. Thank you very much. Very good.
Could we perhaps, Mr. Mayor, also have that arrangement maybe with the traffic committee?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, this is report
Yeah.
is focused on.
Not at this
Yeah.
point, councillor, but something you can bring forward to another meeting if you like. So not at this one. Very good. Yeah, we've got that down. So recommendations there, Councillor Rolls and Councillor Neal. Yep. So everyone's understands what we're doing. Yep. So all those in favour of those recommendations, councillors. Thank you, and all those against. Thank you, councillors, and thank you for putting your hand up.
Yeah.
Next, we move on to the Corporate Services Report. I'm happy to ask our new Director of Corporate Services. All right. Yes, I will. I'll get them. Yeah. The council notes information contained in the statement of bank balances and the banking facilities report. I move in a second, please. Yeah, moved by Councillor Macon, seconded by Councillor Rolls. Thank you very much. I'll ask our new director to present this report. Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'll take the report as read. However, for your awareness, the total cash balance as at 31st of May is 15.7 million. I'd like to point out that we have 14.5 million on term deposit, and for this financial year, our term deposits have returned so far to the 31st of May 425,000 in interest. You will note on page 3 that we have restricted cash in that 15.7 million of 9.9 million. and $4 million of leave liabilities. So our cash after restricted cash and the liabilities is 1.9 million, and then we have internal allocations allocated out of that. So we do expect to be in a strong financial position from a cash position at the end of 30th of June.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if I can just make a comment around the statement of bank balances as well. As our director has alluded to, we are in a solid cash position, and obviously the issues of the 22-23 financial year, as we're nearing the end of this current financial year, doesn't seem to be an issue for us. It was a once-off issue. I think there's murmurs within the community around the financial position of council, and the word amalgamations get thrown around a lot. And if you are in the know, the state government's actually just put out their bill around de-amalgamation. It's not amalgamations is not on the table for the state government for any council area. I think that's really, really important to actually state on the public record, because it's absolute misinformation that's going around on Facebook around the fact that we're going to be amalgamated, when the state government's already put out a bill to say that's not their position on any council within New South Wales to be amalgamated. Thank you.
The minister has made comments that he doesn't believe amalgamations work, and he doesn't find them successful anyway. He was very clear about that at the last presentation he made to the mayors. That was basically he has no intentions of pushing anyone into amalgamations. It's not something that he supports. Councillor Macon.
There was a circular that went around, I think today, yesterday.
Yes, today did
that
one.
they're putting in a de-amalgamation process, so they're going towards de-amalgamating rather than amalgamating.
And this is a reflective of, due to all the staff's work, we are hopefully at the end of June we'll be in a good cash financial position. We're back to where we should have been. So, which is a really good result. And it's taken a lot of work to get there. Councillors, any other questions regarding the bank balances? Councillor Macon again, yes.
To the Director of Corporate Services, for our Commonwealth Bank investments, a lot of them have matured or are maturing within the next week or so. Is that just a rollover straight away, or is there a look into getting, because interest rates are obviously coming down, looking at is this amount of money in term deposits still viable, or is it a straight rollover to new term deposits?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I will answer that question, because our investment policy requires that it's looked at it a stage-by-stage process, and we have just been processing a memo about going into a new 3-month period for at least 2 of them. I think it was 2 out of the 3. Yes, yeah, as they have matured. Yeah, but when I sign off on these memos around the investment, all I can think about is the Coles song with the down, prices are down, because the interest rates are really going down, and we just have to acknowledge that as well. But
the interest rates as they stood have put a fair bit of cash back in the bank, which has been really good, and that investment has been really well worthwhile. So,
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if I can just add, I will always try and get the best return on it. It's in my DNA.
Very good. So I'll put this one. We've got that one, councillors. Thank you very much for the director for that report. I'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. Anyone against? No. Thank you, councillors. Next we move on to, if I'm right, 11.2, which is the rates and charges collection for May. The council notes your information updates on the rates and charges collection for the month of May 2025. We have a move and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Macon, seconded by Councillor Gorman. Thank you very much. Ask the director to provide this report as well. Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I will take this report as read, however, for your awareness. As at the 31st of May, our rates and charges collected was 4.4 million, which was higher than the same period last year at just under 4 million. We have current rates outstanding of 796,000, again lower than our position in 2024, which is a great result for the finance team staying on top of that. Out of that 796,000, there is interest charged of overdue rates of 333,000, One of the things I would like to draw your attention to is that our percentage in arrears is under 10%, currently calculated at 9.64, which is below our benchmark, and that's something we've been working on quite significantly to remain under that benchmark. We weren't there last year. And as is noted in the conclusion of this report, we're now going to spend a focus on outstanding rates and try and get people that have had outstanding rates to enter into payment arrangements so that we can clear the rates down as much as we can. So that's going to be a focus in the coming financial year for the finance team.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I can make a comment around trying to obviously work with our community members or our ratepayers who have outstanding rates, obviously please come to us and enter into those arrangements. It is interesting that sometimes perhaps the most vocal in the community also have issues with rating, and it's just one of those things that, if there's been things that have been said in the past, like the staff are very professional, just please come in and have those conversations and we'll, help manage it that way. Sometimes the discussion around a special rate variation is from those who are unfortunately behind. So I think I needed to make that reference in terms of we're here to work with the community members and with the ratepayers as well.
I totally agree. I've said this, I don't know how many times I've said this same thing. Please come in and speak to the staff. They're there to help. And it's much better to enter in one of those payment program than get behind and have interest charged. It's better for everyone involved. So we say it every time. They're great staff. They're there to help. It's all confidential. Come in and see the staff if you have issues. Any other questions or comments regarding this, councillors? No, it's pretty straightforward. Thank you very much. I'll put this one to the vote then. All those in favour of the recommendation, we note the report, please. Anyone against? No, thank you, councillors. I'll sit back on. It's good work. I think we're getting up to 12% and heading down in that below 10% is really a good result. Somewhere we need to be. Next we move on to 12.1, the infrastructure services report. Council receives and notes the information provided in the infrastructure works report completed in May 2025 and plan works for the June 2025. A move and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Neal. Thank you, Councillor, and seconded by Councillor White. Yeah. I'll ask our acting director, Mr. Anthony Privick, please to present his report.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Well, we'll start off with our usual summary of our natural disaster packages. P2, 22 roads are complete in the unsealed roads and progressing well. P3 is patches on sealed roads, all has been completed there. P4, sealed roads, all that work package has been complete, and that, just to note, that was only started this year. P5, I have to mention that the figures don't correspond with the operational plan for items P5 and P7, as was a late update to the report, and I gave my EA incorrect figures, so I'm being honest there, but that's what happened, but that's that. P5, our engineers are starting the tender process for that sealed work, for that package of work. P6, all the 11 roads are complete, and P7, sinking, culverts, drain clearing, we are going to be calling tenders in August. So from the start of the year, 49 roads have been complete with our council teams and contractor support people. Nowlands Road is progressing very well. We've had an extension to August to do another kilometre of road for the community. The Ramagong Road culvert replacement is nearing completion by the end of next week. Hopefully the upcoming rain doesn't rain on my parade there. We're finishing that work before the end of the financial year. Corragable Shed Path Stage 1, all of the council's obligatory work's been completed, and ARTC is to finish their work, which is due in March next year. We are starting on Corragable Shed Pathway Stage 2. We've received some prices from contractors, and that work will be completed by September of this year. 3rd Street, Quandiella, as late as I've left it, work for the new curb and gutter has started, and the contractor doing that work is expected to finish by the end of next week, subject to weather. So that's a good achievement there. Parks and Gardens, that team is doing a great job with their maintenance work, which is slowing down with the winter period. Plant report, we've had a few things fixed there in the report. Biosecurity have been spraying weeds and attacking specifically along Goolgong Road as per the map provided, doing a great job there. And I'd like to thank all the councillors that came down the main street and had a close look at the proposal to look at the disabled parking in front of IGA. They've made very good recommendations there, which the council's following up on, and will report back to council by this time next month. And that is it.
Very good. Thank you very much, Acting Director. Any questions or comments, councillors, regarding this report?
Through you, Mr.
Councillor
Mayor,
Megan.
I want to thank the outdoor staff leading up to the Henry Wilson Festival, making the town look so nice and tidy and really presentable. I had a few conversations with some out of town visitors, and they were actually saying how beautiful the town looked, all nice and presentable. So thank you to those individuals that worked really hard to prep that as well for a massive event.
I agree, Councillor Gorman.
Just a comment for our engineer. If he didn't mind investigating and looking into signage for the Smithers Crossing, which is the other side of Corragable. It's Quandiella, sorry,
Yeah.
Quandiella. It still seems to be an issue. That's the one where Mr. Mayor and I went out. We were there and we looked at the culvert and
It's already been, yeah.
Through Mr.
It's
Mayor,
already,
it's scheduled for the 27th of June, but then,
it's already been brought to their attention, and they're
yeah.
in progress, so to speak. Thank
I
you.
hope they are pleased to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's great to see how many roads you got done with that, with the flood money. How many did you say?
49.
49 complete with the flood money. I think I'm going to bring in a cake when we complete all the works.
Through
It's
Mr.
been a
Mayor,
long time.
I will smash the cake.
You'll
It
smash-
should have. It's the 40-something roads, but it's the amount of work that didn't get
Oh
included.
yes. Sorry, but I'm just happy to see it completed. It's been such a long ongoing process, but I'd like to see them all completed. Very good. But anyway, I'll put that one. Thank you very much. So if there's no more questions or comments regarding that report, I'll put that one to the vote. All those for the recommendation to receive that report. Thank you, councillors. Anyone against? Thank you, councillors. Next, we move on to, I believe, 12.2, the Roads Maintenance Council contract, the RMCC contract. The recommendation is that council notes the information in this report. We have a mover and a seconder, please. Yep, Councillor Macon, thank you, and Councillor White again, thank you. I ask the Acting Director to speak on this one.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, basically, Phil's doing as usual, excellent job with the highway work. He's now concentrating on, and he and his team are now concentrating on getting prepared for the next sealing program starting in October. So he's focusing on tenders and getting his materials sourced for that upcoming work, and they are doing maintenance of rest areas and various other maintenance activities associated with the RMCC RMAP work. So that is going fantastically.
Very good. Any questions on that report, councillors? I think it's pretty straightforward. It's great work. No?
you, Mr. Mayor. If I can just make my final parting comments around the decrease in budget for the capital works that have been provided through our RMCC, but a lot of that was also related to our natural disasters from 2022. I referred to where the Newell Highway was closed for I think the 11 weeks as well, and we're still playing catch up from that. But the expectation of the funding, say in future years for RMCC, they're, you know, touch wood, there's no more floods, will significantly decrease after the next financial year.
Just seems to be across the board. The funding seems to be decreasing everywhere.
And finally, through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to thank the GM on her kind tutelage over the year of my position and role, etc. So I was pretty rough at the start, and I'm slightly less rough now. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Well, thank you, councillors. If no one's got any more comments regarding that report with the RMCC, no, I'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendation, councillors? Thank you. Anyone against? No, thank you. Thank you, the Acting Director, for that report. I think we're on to 13, the Environmental Services Report. The Developing Applications, Construction Certificates and Compliant Development Certificates. This one's only for noting, I think. So I'll ask still have a move in a second. We note this report. Moved by Councillor Parlett, seconded by Councillor Macon. I'll ask the Director of Environmental Services to present this to the Council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, that's the report outlines the development applications, complying development certificates and the construction certificates that were issued during the month of May. Probably 3 complying development certificates which might be of interest to our rural residents, particularly some farmers, which are the connected farmers or connected farms, telecommunication towers or facilities. So there's 3 of those that have been approved. One out at Sandy Creek Road, one out past Crackable, and another one out at Quandialla. So there's a first of, I think it's 5 that will be going up throughout the Shire, which will hopefully aid our farmers in terms of telecommunications and GPS in those areas.
Yep. Very good. Thank you. Any questions to the Director, councillors? It's a pretty straightforward report. It's good to see a bit of building work going on in the town, which is very, very good. And it's good to see the towers going up, and hopefully the other 2 get up and we have a better connectivity for the farmers. No questions or comments, councillors. I'll put this one to the vote that we note this report. All those in favour? Thank you, councillors. All those against? That moved. Thank you. Next we move on to this. Pretty quick report, that one. Next, if I'm correct, the delegates' reports. There's no delegates' reports this month. Move on to 15.1, the council committee reports requiring actions. We have the minutes of the Henry Lawson Festival of Arts Committee to be noted. The council recommends, the recommendation is that council accept where otherwise dealt with the minutes of the Henry Lawson Festival of Arts Committee meeting held on the 22nd of January 2025, the 12th of February 2025, 16th of April 2025, and also the 28th of May 2025 to be noted as presented. Notes that the council continues to be in breach of section. Sorry,
I think that's a mistake. I don't know why that one's in.
Don't put it in.
Sorry. For you, Mr. Mayor, obviously the issue has been that meeting minutes haven't been submitted for this committee since last year. So I think that might have been from the previut meeting minutes from last year.
Yep.
And it's just noting that obviously we'll just need to work with the committee to ensure that the minutes are put in a timely manner, because it is a section 355 committee of council, and council accepts those meeting minutes. And obviously we've now delivered a festival and it's been done and dusted, and we've not seen the meeting minutes. So I think that second one is an error. It's an error,
we leave. So we're leaving that one out, councillors. We're just dealing with recommendation 1. We haven't got to move in a second, so we don't need to actually change the recommendation. We'll just only vote on 1, please, councillors. We have a move in a second for that, councillors. Yep, Councillor Gorman and Councillor Macon, thank you very much. So if everyone's read those minutes, so I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendation, councillors? Thank you. Anyone against? No. Thank you, councillors. Move on to, now we move into section 16, which is our closed council section. And the recommendation here is that the meeting now be closed to the public under section 10A2 of the Local Government Act to consider the items following because of their confidential nature. 16.1, we're going to deal with a Lisa request for the dental surgery. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 10A2 D1 of the Local Government Act. As council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest as it deals with commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, prejudice the commercial position of the person who supplied it. Next is 16.2, which is the mayoral minute on the General Manager's resignation. This matter also is considered confidential under 10A2A of the Local Government Act, that council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest as it deals with personal matters concerning particular individuals other than councillors. We move on to section 16.3, which is the purchase of DGS 40 general fill materials for our regional roads. This matter is considered confidential under 10A2, D2 and D3 of the Local Government Act, and council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest as it deals with information that would, if disclosed, confer a commercial advantage on a competitor of the council, and information that would, if disclosed, reveal trade secrets. And we also move on to 16.4, which is an electricity procurement that we are participating in. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 10A2 D1 of the Local Government Act. The council is also satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest as it deals with commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, prejudice the commercial position of the person who supplied it. We have a move and a second for those recommendations. We move into closed council. Yes, Councillor Gorman and Councillor Rolls, thank you very much. All those in favour that we move into closed council for those reasons? Thank you. Anyone against? Thank you, councillors. We're moving into open council now, councillors. Thank you very much for everyone putting up with our time in closed council. The report on the closed council goes that the council 16.1 leasee request for the dental surgery, that council notes the information contained in the report. The 2, council then delegates the general manager to sign the revised lease arrangement letter in accordance with the information contained in the report, and the 2026 lease is at a monthly rate. That was actually moved and seconded by Councillor Parlett and Councillor White, and that was carried. That motion was carried. Next, we move on to a mayoral minute, 16.2, presented by myself, which was the general manager's resignation. There's a few points in this. One, that council notes and accepts the resignation of Miss Noreen Vu, general manager. And 1, acknowledges the contributions that Ms Vu has made in her role as General Manager to the Weddin Shire Council, and thanks Ms Vu for the work that she has undertaken and her achievements during her tenure. 2, Council notes as per Council Resolution 134-243, Mr Luke Sheen will act as the General Manager for the period of 27th of June 2025 to the 11th of July 2025, whilst Noreen Vu is on her annual leave. 3, we then appoint Mr Luke Sheen as an acting General Manager, commencement 12th of July 2025, with full General Manager's delegations until a new General Manager is appointed or unless otherwise advised. 4, authorise the increase of the credit card limit for the acting General Manager to $25,000, which will come in effect on the 27th of June 2025. 5, Council amends the delegation register, which will reflect the increase in the credit card limit. 6, authorised Mr Luke Sheen as the acting General Manager as a co-signatory on the Weddin Shire Council's book accounts from the 27th of June 2025. 7, makes provisions for appropriate resources to be provided for the backfilling of the staff position, which is the acting Director of Environmental Services, Luke's actual current role. 8, notes that an external party will be required for the recruitment process for the permanent filling of the General Manager's position. 9, authorises delegation to the Mayor to undertake the necessary steps to commence a recruitment process for the permanent General Manager's position and seek expressions of interest from executive recruitment specialists. 10, notes the Mayor will provide a report to Council within the appropriate timeframes on the outcomes of the recruitment process. 11, Council will undertake the recruitment for the General Manager's position in accordance with OLG guidelines for the appointment and oversight of General Managers and seek nominations from councillors to form a selection panel committee to undertake the filling of the General Manager's position. In accordance with the OLG guidelines, nominates the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor and the other councillor, being Councillor Montgomery, which was voted on by the Council. 12, notes the following occurs at 5 p.m. Friday 11th July 2025, if not before. A, we terminate Noreen Vu's corporate credit card. B, we terminate Noreen Vu as a signatory on the Weddin Shire's council bank accounts. C, the vehicle allocated to Noreen Vu be returned to the depot with keys, logbooks and fuel cards in a clean condition. D, that seems very silly, doesn't it? D, the keys for the property occupied by Noreen Vu are returned to the Weddin Shire Council with the property left in clean condition. And E, all Weddin Shire Council issued property be returned, laptops, mobile phones, key tags, etc. 13, we will now approve for some minor refurbishments of the property allocated to the General Manager whilst vacant, example, new carpets, painting, etc., maintenance as required. They were carried unanimously by the Council. Thank you very much, councillors. That's it. Next, we move on to purchase of DGS 40 general fill material for the regional roads. This was moved by Councillor White, seconded by Councillor Rolls, that Council notes the information contained in the report, endorses the application of Section 55(3)(1) of the Local Government Act 1993 due to the extenuating circumstances, notes the evaluation information contained in this report regarding the purchase of DGS 40 general fill material for the use on regional roads, endorses the engagement of services from Cooper Civil and Crushing Pty Ltd for the supply of gravel fill materials for the prices which are set out in this report. 5, endorses the use of regional block grants to complete the purchase of the DGS 40 general fill material with the financial years 2024-2025. And 6, delegates the General Manager to engage in a contract with Cooper Civil and Crushing Pty Ltd for the supply of the DGS 40 general fill material and an execution of the associated documents, and that was carried unanimously as well by council. I think finally we're moving on to 16.4, which was an electricity procurement contract. It was moved by Councillor Parlett and seconded by Councillor Neal. That council notes in the confidential report of council electricity procurement, and 2, delegates the general manager to enter into a contract with the preferred tenders through the Central New South Wales Joint Organisation arrangement as outlined in the confidential confidential report, and that was also carried. Thank you very much, councillors, for that. Now, being the closing of the meeting, I just do have obviously a couple of comments to make. Basically, tonight is our general manager's final monthly council meeting, and I'd like to take a moment, obviously, to not just as it says there, but thank her for everything that she has brought to this role over the past 3 years. I think Noreen started her role at the tail end of the Main Street Improvement Program, which was quite problematic at the time. She was able to step in and quickly provide a strong and thoughtful, thorough leadership in that matter and brought it to fruition. And I think it's something she can be very proud of in the future, and very proud of that achievement. She's worked very hard as well to improve how the council functions as a team overall and how the council staff function. I think that's really important. She's tried to build better relationships and create more community connection than we've ever had. We've got more touch points than we've ever had with the community. That's something she's been very adamant about, and put a real focus on staff training, probably stuff that the community doesn't see, but she was very focused on staff training, on wellness, on safety, all those things, and you were very, very adamant that staff come first, and I think you should be also proud of that. She had a very collaborative, inclusive approach, and I think that's helped bring the staff and the community together as well. So on behalf of the council, the community, and everyone involved, I wish you all the best with your new role at Snowy Valleys.
Snowy Monaro.
Sorry, I say Snowy Valleys, my apologies. Snowy Monaro, they'll be watching this and hate me for it. The Snowy Monaro, it's been a real pleasure working with you personally, Noreen. I think you've been a very proactive and good GM. And you'll be missed, and Howard's Pizzas will be missed as well.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I have a right of reply?
Of course, you have a right of reply.
I haven't actually prepared anything, but I just wanted to
unusual.
I actually wanted to take the opportunity just to thank everybody. It's been such an overwhelming response since I made my resignation announcement, with how many people who have approached me, whether I'm at the IGA or sent through text messages, emails, that sort of thing, just to congratulate me and have some very, very kind words to say. And I think I needed to really highlight that. It's been 3 years, and it's been, some fun times, some not so fun times, but I have absolutely loved leading this council, and I needed to take the opportunity to make some specific mentions, try and say that quickly. And in terms of the staff, I needed to thank Liz Walters, my executive assistant, who has basically been with me since the very start, and to Luke Sheen, our Director of Environmental Services, who's also the longest serving director. But then I've had directors along the way, and I do need to take the opportunity to thank Anthony Prupik as our acting director as well, who's been by my side, and we've had, some very, very good debates around road construction and plant and that sort of thing, robust discussions, and, it's not, and also to acknowledge previous directors in John Thompson and Michael Chalmers, and obviously we've now got Catherine who's joined us, and people who acted along the way in Dana Hodgland and Auburn Carr. I've actually never said Dana's surname, so there you go. And in terms of having that opportunity to work through, I want to also thank our HR specialist who's also joined us, and also Barry Frew, who was with us for a couple of years, in terms of what we've done there. And specifically to the indoor and the outdoor staff, the way I described the day that I announced my resignation, it went from there was tears from some staff, there was flowers and there was presents. It was just, and then one staff came in and said, what the heck? It was just a really mixed emotion, but I think everyone's kind of got over the shock now. And I wanted to take the opportunity to also thank the council, particularly to the past councillors and also to the present councillors, to thank former Mayor Craig Benbrick, and in terms of his leadership, and then also to our current Mayor Paul Best. Without the two of you, I probably wouldn't have been able to get through some pretty difficult times for me personally, and that I experienced while I was in this role. And just the leadership that you have provided, I do believe that moving forward, our community is in very, very good hands under your leadership. And obviously those connections have been formed. And I do pride myself in terms of the connections that have been made out in the community, whether it's been introducing those mobile hubs and those multiple touch points, something so simple like the rates newsletter, who would have thought, and jazzing up our Facebook page a little bit. But there's always more room for improvement. And I really look forward to actually seeing where this organisation goes over the next little bit as well. And one of the things that I have absolutely prided myself on is our work health and safety, and actually putting it on the forefront, having it as part of our structure to make sure that we've got work health and safety actually covered. And as much as there's rumblings in the community, I would encourage every single staff member, if they do feel unsafe, to speak out. And as much as people go, what a waste of money around investigations or whatever it is, I strongly encourage and welcome those complaints to come through. You will be heard. And I need to be strong in that viewpoint there. Safety is very, very important. And I think we need to continue as the governing body, as council, you need to continue to support your acting general manager and the future general manager in that position to continue to improve our wellbeing and safety culture of the staff. But I'm very much looking forward to the next step in my career, taking on a bit of a bigger council, just a bit bigger, and having those opportunities there, and obviously relocating closer to my family as well has been really important. So thank you, councillors.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just on behalf of the
Please
staff. I suppose I'm probably the longest serving, or am the longest serving here, so yeah, certainly, Noreen, thank you for all your help and guidance over the last 3 years. So I know that the staff really appreciate what you've done down there. So echo Paul's comments. So I thought it would be important, probably on behalf of the staff, to acknowledge your contribution to Weddin Shire Council over the last 3 years, and wish you well at snowy Monaro.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good, councillors. Thank you very much. So now I'd ask we have a move and a second to close the meeting, please. Yeah, moved by Councillor Rolls and seconded by Councillor Parlett. All those in favour of closing the meeting? All those against? Thank you, councillors. Thank you.